Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, actually. How was your week? Did you have a good week?
I had a pretty good week. I watched 2 movies this week,
I did too.
and I caught up with the Bad Batch. So,
Oh, that's the Star Wars one, right?
yep, it's their Clone Force 99
Mm-hmm.
because they
Yeah.
were their clone gene is different than that of the other clones.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good show. You should watch it.
I've seen the first season, and did I watch the second season? I might have.
The second season had a lot of filler, but this season's been a lot
The
more
third one.
story. And
Okay.
it's the last season too, so
Well, that's why it's a lot of story. I feel like it's made by Dave Filoni, right?
everything cartoon
That's
is
true.
made by Dave Filoni.
I feel like he does like first and last seasons are a lot of story, and then the middles are just like develop the characters, have some fun.
That's how he does it. It's his life. He can
Which,
do
I
whatever
mean-
he wants.
Makes for a hype ending.
It really does. I think he's great at storytelling. He did Avatar. Do you know this Dave Filoni that did Avatar?
Airbender?
Yeah, The Last
Avatar?
Airbender.
Nice.
He did that.
I didn't know that.
I think he had to leave for the last season because he was doing the Clone Wars, but I wouldn't say I'm correct on that, so
Mm.
you can double check me on that later if you want.
Nah, I'm good.
But that's not what we're here for, Jared.
I
We're
know.
here for the B movie.
We are. We watched that a
So
while ago.
Jared
Was
and
it
I watched the B movie
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Today's Friday. So we're not fresh off of the B movie. We also did watch Interstellar in between those. That's a whole different story.
We're gonna get into.
I
My
might
mind
reference
is
it.
too big for this movie now.
Yeah. After watching Interstellar, after watching B movie, it's a really weird.
It's a turn.
It's a turn, which it's gonna be an even bigger turn when we go to American Psycho next.
I
but
think Interstellar was a good bridge then.
Jared, you haven't watched American Psycho
I
yet.
know,
So
But it's at least more serious than B movie Interstellar is.
yeah, I'd say that. But there's a lot different themes going.
Mm-hmm.
But
Anyway,
the
B
B
movie.
movie. How do we normally do this?
Well, first let's give it. What's our personal ratings out of 10? Do you want to go first or should I?
You go first.
Okay, I'll give it 7.5 Bs out of 10. I like the
7.5
half.
Bs.
7.5 Bs. We chopped off keychain guy.
Overall?
Overall,
So, what would you give, like... I think we should probably expand our ratings a little bit more beyond just overall.
mm-hmm.
So 7.5 for overall. But what would you give, like...
Well, how about let's do your overall and then we'll
And then we can do... I want to do, like, plot, characters...
plot characters,
And then probably...
script,
Because
right?
it's...
like writing.
Well, that's kind of plot, is the
Oh,
writing.
you're kind of putting it there. Okay.
But animation, because this is animated.
Mm-hmm.
I think other movies we do, like, cinematography and
Yeah, I like that. So, like, overall, what's yours? So I'm 7.5 Bs.
I really do like this movie. So I think I'd have to give it, I'll go 8.5 yogurt nights.
8.5 yogurt nights.
Yeah. It's so hard to have yogurt night, apparently.
Yogurt night.
But it was supposed to be yogurt night.
Should we? Oh yeah. Spoiler warning. We always forget to do that.
It's the B movie, dog. There's no spoilers here.
That's true. If you haven't seen B movie, go watch it.
See, I think The Matrix has a bit more of a spoiler issue because of how vast. And I
Well, and
also
how-
said the
how
other
in-
4 movies, so it was like it wasn't
And
just.
how in depth it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's.
But the B movie is the B movie, and we're gonna. I guess we should still say spoilers because we're gonna spoil it. but,
There.
like,
I mean, there's gonna be people who get angry if we don't.
why
say
didn't
spoiler
you
warning.
say spoiler alert? I don't know. Go watch the B movie already.
Jerry Seinfeld as a bee?
It's always the people who have already seen the movie that say, "Why didn't you put the spoiler alert?"
That's true.
Because they're angry that the people who haven't seen it got spoiled. But like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the B movie. Do you really care?
It doesn't care about itself half the time.
I wouldn't say that.
Well,
All right, plot.
plot. So plot.
We'll get to breaking down the movie.
See, if I had to split it between like writing and storyline, the script is like an A plus.
I'd give the script
A
a probably solid 8 out of.
I would give it a 9.
I'd give it 8 out of
There's
10 Moose Bloods.
there's some wild lines in there that I would give it a 9 for.
Yeah.
But like the storyline itself, I would give like a 5.
Really? I think the storyline's a solid 7, dog.
I thought it was an acid trip.
Well, yeah, there's moments where you're like, oh, okay.
But
Then you reach the end and you're like, oh, wow.
so I guess that would average out to about like a 7.
Yeah, I'd go 7. Character, 10. That's a 10 for me. Every single character in this movie is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, they do their roles really well.
I'll say 9.5, just because I don't want to give 10s too easily.
True. I'll
Maybe
still
9.
go 10.
I'll go 9. A solid 9 for me.
And then I guess what? Animation?
Animation. Okay, you have to think about time period. This is 2006?
7.
2007.
I kind of want to look at movies made around other animation movies made around.
Okay, you do that
time.
while I say my score. I think for 2007 and technology-wise, it's pretty good. There's some times where I'm like, okay, that background's a little worse for wears, but I'd give it 8 out of 10 beehives. 8 out of 10
Oh, wow.
tennis balls.
So you got Surf's Up, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah, I could see very Meet the
Ratatouille.
Robinsons. That's Disney. This is them off of their golden age.
Yeah.
And Disney, so they have a lot of money into animation.
There was a movie made in 2007 called Elf Bowling.
It's just called Elf Bowling,
The movie, yes.
and there was an elf bowling.
From the picture I see right now, it's a bunch of elves and then a penguin bowling ball just going at them.
Okay, well, that's a movie apparently.
Yeah, those are really the only big ones. I mean, there's a couple like smaller ones.
I think B movie's on par with Meet the Robinsons, with some of its shots.
Yeah, I would say so.
You can't compare
and
it to
Surf's
Ratatouille.
Up. Shrek the Third was made. I forgot to mention that.
You didn't need to mention
Okay.
Shrek the Third. I think you can't compare Ratatouille to this because again,
It's Disney.
Disney was off of that was
It was Disney
after the
Pixar,
golden
too.
age.
It was Disney Pixar.
Exactly.
So you have way more.
So you got
effort
tons of money
towards it.
being pumped
Yeah.
into that because of the golden age where they made tons of money, and
Mhm.
then now they're making Ratatouille, which is a great movie. But we'll have to watch that. At some point.
I think for its time. I mean, it's still. I mean, it's up there.
That's why I said an 8.
It's not as yeah. I think it's a. I think it's an 8 too.
Yeah.
Just for the time period and the context around it.
There's some shots where I'm like, all right, that's a little rough for wear.
That's like you could tell that was like
You're like maybe they
that aged poorly.
or
type
they
of
like
thing.
like just half did it because they didn't want to put too much time into it because it's not that important. Like some background shots, I'm like, okay.
And I mean, yeah, again, it's you didn't have the funding like
But yeah,
Ratatouille.
and also you just gotta cut corners sometimes just because.
Yeah.
If you watch the new Invincible season, I'd make the joke about cutting corners, but you haven't watched it yet,
I haven't
so I
watched
can't
it.
make the joke.
I have a lot of stuff I need to get.
Yeah, I know. You're a busy man. I know. You don't have to watch movies now though, because we just watch them together.
Yeah,
So you
We
can
just
cut.
do it once a week. Yeah.
Oh.
That gets through my list pretty fast.
Plot synopsis. Last time I gave the plot synopsis, so now you get to give the plot
On
synopsis.
the B movie?
On the B movie.
Okay, Jerry Seinfeld's a bee. He's a bee.
You gotta start from the beginning.
Oh, well, the beginning. That's Barry the bee. You know, he's just graduated college.
Barry B. Benson.
Barry B. Benson just graduated college, and he's going to work in the beehive, work to make honey, and he's like, no, I don't want to make honey. Instead, he wants to become one of the pollen jocks, who are the bees that go outside the hive to go get pollen.
I can't believe you remembered that. I totally forgot they were called pollen jocks.
Hey, I related to them. That's why I like to
Yeah,
say.
because you're a jock.
Yeah,
I'm a
know.
nerd.
I'd like to put myself in the jockey nerd category. I'm like a mix, but um, let's see. So he goes out with some pollen jocks, and then as he's gathering pollen, there's a rainstorm coming, and so he crash lands basically in a woman named Vanessa's house. Um,
You
and
forgot the part where he gets into a car, and then everyone in the car, even the driver, is trying to kill Barry B. Benson, and they're in the middle of traffic.
they're
They hit another car
to kill a bee.
just to kill a bee.
But so basically Vanessa saves Barry from getting squashed by her husband. Probably husband, right?
No, that's
Boyfriend?
her boyfriend, dog.
Boyfriend?
If that was
Okay.
her husband, she would not have
I
kicked him
don't
out of
know.
the house for trying to kill a bee.
That's true.
Well, maybe. But
Well, I guess it is 2007.
but think about it. Yogurt, not like he never stays over. He always leaves.
That's true.
I guess some people do live in, but typically that's not. It's 2007,
Yeah.
so it's not normal for back then.
So, boyfriend, she saves Barry from getting killed by her boyfriend. And Barry's like, well, I gotta thank her. And so he sticks around and he goes to he's figuring out how he's gonna thank her, and finally he just says it. And she's shocked at first. She's panicking. You like jazz? Yes.
How should I? What should I? I don't know what. You like jazz? No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
I can't. That's one of the lines. So him and Vanessa.
Everyone knows that line, Jared.
Well,
Everyone knows.
I only know that you like
meme.
jazz part of that line. I didn't know the pre-context and post-context.
I know. I can't believe. But have you seen the shot of him leaning against?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess you didn't know he was trying to talk to Vanessa.
Well, I knew he was gonna talk to her. It's just I didn't know he was like trying to think of what he was gonna say. But continuing on, basically him and Vanessa they start hooking up, not in the weird way.
Actually, we'll get to that. They are hanging out together, and Barry B. Benson is in love.
Yeah.
Even tells his friend.
Yeah, and so he goes back to the hive after they chat for a bit. Him and Vanessa. Goes back to the hive, doesn't want to go to work. He still doesn't have a job. And in, like, B days, it was like 3 days, which it was. And so he goes back to see Vanessa, and then he discovers that honey is being sold in grocery stores, and it's like, what the heck? Like, we make this honey. We need to go give it back. And so he lawyers up. Barry B. Benson becomes a lawyer just to
Hold
go.
on a second. I never thought
What?
about that. He
What?
got a law degree.
Yeah.
How did he did?
He was in the back of Vanessa's shop just studying.
How did he pass the bar?
I think he self-taught himself and didn't pass the bar. He just went in.
Oh, I guess you could. I guess you can be your own lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he goes basically on. He's prosecuting honeybee farm companies. So he lawyers up. And this was after he went to a honey farm and discovered, like, wow, they're basically enslaving bees to make honey. And in this movie, the honey farm companies are kind of like the bad guys they're shown as. Barry Benson lawyers up. He wins the case after a wild case, and after his friend basically stung another guy. And so Barry's happy. Everyone's happy. The honey gets confiscated back and given back to the bees. However, because there's so much honey being given back to the bees, there's no need for the bees to go and get pollen. And so one unforeseen consequence that Barry didn't see was that the bees aren't pollinating the entire earth anymore, meaning all the flowers are just dying rapidly, which is weird. So Barry's like, well, shoot, we have no more pollen, and we have too much honey. what are we gonna do? Because like everyone's leaving. Vanessa owns a floral shop, and since all her flowers aren't getting pollinated, they die. And so she's like, "Well, I'm just gonna leave." Well, Barry finds out that there's a like tournament of roses in a city not far from New York, which is where they are. And he's like, "Well, we got to get some of those flowers and bring it back to New York." So Barry goes with Vanessa. They steal an entire float of flowers, pack it onto a plane, and on the plane, they hijack it after the pilot's like, "Well, we gotta land because there's a big thunderstorm." So Barry Benson and Vanessa hijack a plane, land it with the help of bees, and then spread the pollen from the flowers from the float they stole all over New York City. All the flowers are magically alive. The end. The bee gets the girl. So, yeah, halfway through this movie, I was like, who pitched this script and where can I meet them? Because it was, what the heck?
So while you were talking about the uh, the plot,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking up some B movie trivia. Come to find out, Jerry Seinfeld wrote this script himself, and it was originally supposed to be a live action B movie,
What?
and then it wasn't turning out well, and his friend Steven Spielberg told him he should make it in animation.
Yes, casually having a friend named Steven Spielberg.
The man himself.
Jeez. But that's B movie. I don't know. Should we get to my questions while we're at this?
Well, I got some trivia that I want to say.
You want to do some trivia
I
first?
think I want to do trivia first. We didn't do this last time, which I think would have been fun for the Matrix.
I think. Well, I mean, it was a long episode already, so.
So, but we do have to kind of fill time a little bit more because it's a bit shorter of a movie.
It is.
But so let me just throw some trivia at you, and I just want to get your reaction to some of these.
I'm down.
So this is all from IMDb. So
Okay,
take that as you will.
took it.
The first bit of trivia is that according to Jerry Seinfeld, he was having lunch at Steven Spielberg's house, and he mentioned the idea to Steven as a joke, and Spielberg loved it. And
This is Spielberg approved?
this movie is Spielberg approved.
No.
In November of 2016, this movie actually saw a surge of attention due to the rise in popularity of videos on YouTube that consisted of random edits to this movie, and sometimes the trailer. The most popular of these videos is one where the movie increases in speed every time the word "B" is said. And I think I've seen the video too.
I think I've seen the thumbnail, but I haven't watched it.
The first two movie trailers had Jerry Seinfeld trying to make a live-action B movie. After watching the disastrous results, Steven Spielberg asks, "Why don't you just make it a cartoon?"
Why didn't Jerry Seinfeld... What would a live action B movie look like?
Horrible.
Because, like, would he have used, like, a real bee and he just animate it like that? Or
Probably.
would he dress up as a bee?
I think it would just be
I think he would dress up as a bee and green screen it.
I think they'd animate a real bee. It's like the live action Lion King. Have you seen that?
No, but I've seen the trailer.
I think it'd be like that, but worse because it's 2007
Yeah, that's when Alvin the Chipmunks was made.
and DreamWorks. Nothing against DreamWorks; they make great stuff, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think they put this movie as a priority on their list.
No, they wouldn't.
All of the bees in the movie either have a buzz cut or beehive hairdos. I have no idea what that means.
I think that's the female hairdos.
But I like the buzz cut thing. I think
that's funny.
that's pretty good. Jerry Seinfeld said he's not going to make a sequel to this because it would take away from the uniqueness of
the original.
Yeah, sure. Sure,
That's
Jerry.
what he said, dude. Jerry Seinfeld was inspired to write the script for this movie after his wife took up the hobby of beekeeping. Seinfeld felt she was spending more time with the bees than with him, and wanted to imagine a world where this was taken to the extreme. Jerry Seinfeld was losing his wife to Barry B. Benson.
Jerry Seinfeld was jealous of the bees, so he became one himself.
Apparently, there were queen scenes where they're going to show the queen bee, and they recorded all of the dialogue, and it was Megan Mullally, I think is how you pronounce her name, but her character just got cut.
That's tough. Because I would like to... They never showed any queen. Like,
Okay.
they showed one queen, and that was the fake one.
But even though they cut her, they had her be the voice of the Hunnix tour guide. So
Oh,
you know,
that one?
yeah, who's like talking about all the different things. So she's still got to be in the movie, but it's got to suck after your character gets like just.
Just a full character cut.
Oh, here's a fun one. The sound effect of when the pollen jocks open their helmets is the same one used when Buzz Lightyear opens his helmet in Toy Story.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
This happened to be DreamWorks' second animation about bugs after
Bugs
the,
Life?
after
No,
the hits
Bugs-
movie Ants.
Ants.
The Bugs Life ripoff, I like to call it. The actual address of the fictitious Vanessa's Flower Shop is at the corner of 67th W in Columbus, New York City. New
I
York.
wonder what's there right now.
In the Hive Times, the headline refers to a frisbee hitting the hive. An eyewitness is quoted as referring to the moment it hit as whammo. The Whammo Corporation was the original maker and seller of the frisbee.
You noticed that when we were watching it, too.
Because I've never looked at the newspaper, but it actually had stuff on it. I was like, that's cool. I want to pause for this.
And that's so cool to see. Like, I love animations because animators can just be like, let's throw this in.
Yeah, just
It's pretty
because
funny.
they're having fun. I got a few more, and then we'll go to your questions. During the first court scene, Leighton T. Montgomery, the lawyer, the pieces of paper he's holding is the script for the movie. Or it's script notes to the movie. So, like, they had to animate that in. They had to take script notes and then animate it into this wonderful movie.
That's so much effort.
The animation of JFK Airport is actually quite accurate, specifically the control tower and the terminal surrounding it, which would be Terminal 4. Oh, okay, this will be the last one because it's a long one. Bees in the real world have a very different biology than the bees in this movie. In the real world, male bees don't contribute at all to the honey making process, which is done entirely by females. Male bees are drones and just hang around the hive to mate with the queen. Drones have no stingers. That's the female reproductive organ and self-defense method. Though bees do tend to die after stinging, as the stinger, which has tiny barbs on it, rips free of the body as the bee flies away. Also, male mosquitoes do not drink blood. Only female mosquitoes do, as a protein source for their eggs, not as sustenance for themselves. Furthermore, insects have 6 legs, not 4. They have compound eyes, not simple ones. Real insects also cannot talk. That's the last note on this random trivia.
I did notice that when the mosquito talked about like how he needed blood, I was like, no, that's not how that works. You need nectar. Because male mosquitoes drink nectar just for food sustenance, but yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was funny, though. It's a good long rant about bee anatomy and mosquito anatomy, and yeah.
I like it.
Also, this movie has an absolute stacked cast.
I was just about... Okay, before you go, that's one of my things. Let's just do that. Let's talk about the cast.
They have
You got Jerry Seinfeld,
Jerry Seinfeld,
Chris Rock,
Patrick Warburton, Renee Zellweger, Matthew Broderick, Ray Liotta, John Goodman. You got Larry King, Oprah Winfrey, Rip Torn, Kathy Bates, Sting as Sting.
I know. Oh, what was
Michael
the talk
Richards?
show host?
Larry King.
Larry King.
Yeah.
Oh, you already said
I said that one.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, Michael Richards from Seinfeld. And then you also got Jim Cummings, the voice of Winnie the Pooh. And John DiMaggio, who's the voice of Jake from
State Farm.
Adventure Time.
Oh.
The dog, he voices it.
Oh, okay.
So you got quite the stacked cast list.
I feel like a lot of their money went into the cast, and then like the rest is just like, oh, I guess we gotta animate too.
No, it's probably pretty easy to get this cast because Jerry Seinfeld just knows people.
That's true. He probably got half of them for free.
I bet you when flippin' Jerry Seinfeld was thinking of Ken the character, he went, "Oh, this is gonna be Patrick Warburton for sure."
It's just him.
I feel
like every character Patrick Warburger does, it's just him.
Because it is just him. Because Patrick Warburton doesn't need to be anything other than himself.
Like, think about Ken, and then also think about Kronk. Who else has he done?
Here, let me just give you some movies and titles he's been in. Emperor's New Groove, The Bee Movie, Ted, Seinfeld, Ted 2, Mission Impossible 2, Hoodwinked 2, and the original Hoodwinked. He was an Underdog, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Chicken Little.
Stacked. That's right, because he plays Achilles.
Open Season,
Peabody.
Sky High, Kim Possible. Dude is stacked. He's also, I know you don't go to Disneyland, Jared, but for my Disneyland lovers, he is, he talks, when you're going on Soarin' Over the World, there's a screen that you have to watch, and he's the guy that does all, like, the flight checks and stuff. It's really cool. I always think of Patrick Warburton in that, because I go to Disneyland a lot, so sorry.
It's okay.
Didn't mean to bring that up. I know this isn't a Disney movie, so.
It's a DreamWorks movie. Competitors, Michael.
Soaring to tower, ready for takeoff. Sorry. It's part of his line.
All right, let's move on.
Hold on.
As always, this might be just like an everyday question, or every episode question. Favorite character? Who's your favorite character, Michael?
Hold on.
Holding on.
My name is Patrick, and I'll be your chief flight attendant today. We'll begin boarding in a few minutes, but first I'd like to acquaint you with some important safety information. When the doors to your flight open, please take a seat and store all carry-on items in the under-seat compartment. This includes cameras, purses, hats, and of course...
He looks like every character.
beauties.
He looks like every character that he's ever done.
Dude,
That's Kronk's face.
Man, my dad's listening to this right now, which I think he is because I told him to listen. That was for you, Dad. That was for you. I thought you want to hear Patty doing his little soaring to tower, ready for takeoff.
All right, favorite character.
Oh, it's gotta be Barry B. Benson, man. Is there any other character that deserves the top spot in this movie? Vanessa, great. You know, Ken.
I was about to say,
beautiful.
Ken is a close two in my books.
But what about Yogurt Night?
She's got a weak backhand. I had to take advantage. She's 81.
It's my grandma. I think he's second.
Yeah, but I think Barry.
It's got to be Barry B. Benson.
I mean,
man.
he has so many lines where it's just like, what? That's Jerry Seinfeld just talking.
There's very rare times where I don't feel like the main character is the character of my choice.
Mm-hmm.
For this movie, it's Barry B. Benson. It's the main character. Like, it has to be.
I mean, the side characters slapped, but not as. It's just
They
Barry
just didn't
was
carry.
Barry was too good.
Barry was carrying this on his back.
He was. Favorite line of this movie? There's a lot.
All of them, dude. All of them are
Pick
worthwhile.
one. We need to find one.
I can't just choose one. You got you like
you
jazz. You
I'm
got
already a blood-sucking parasite, and then
Oh, yeah.
all you had to do was just give me a briefcase.
that's a good one. You know, what about
Watch
yogurt night?
Yogurt night. Watch this.
Watch this.
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Keychains. Keychain guy.
Keychains. Everyone follow me, except keychains.
Except for keychain guy. Oh, there's so many good lines.
Yeah, there's a lot of good lines. Thinking B. Thinking
Thinking
B. All right, I think I know my favorite.
You got
one.
yours?
It's
What?
either help a fellow, black and yellow, hello, or just black and yellow, hello. It's so perfect. It comes out of nowhere, and you're like, all right, I'm into this movie now. This movie's got me hooked.
That one's good. I like the blood-sucking parasite one.
Yeah,
At the
because
end.
it came out of nowhere.
Well, it's just like you didn't expect the mosquito again, and then you just showed up, and he's like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, and he's like, are you sure you're a lawyer? He goes, well, I'm already a blood-sucking parasite. I just need a briefcase. He goes, perfect. And it's Chris Rock,
It's
so like
and he delivers it. He kills it.
every time,
Every-
consistently.
It's amazing. Moving on. We talked about bees breeding. Why is there a mother and father? We'll just skip over that.
No, well, they bring that point up, and
Oh, they do at the lawyer case, the court case.
yeah, they're
right?
like, that's not even your real mother and father, and
Everyone's like, "What?"
well, no, they knew. It's just they don't talk about it.
So they just like.
It's just, I feel like it's
So does that mean Barry Benson is? Since they have stingers, is Barry Benson like trans?
no. Again, it's that they didn't get B anatomy correct.
That's true. It's Jerry Seinfeld.
It was
He
for the
doesn't-
sake of the plot.
He didn't care.
He needed the friend to sting the lawyer, so he decided male bees will also have stingers.
They gotta be threatening somehow.
It was for the plot. It's all for the plot.
Speaking of that court case, how did Barry capture a bear?
Pretty easily. So, what you do is you go out in the wild and you trank it, and then you bring it there. You just hire a guy.
Well, then he had to have the help of humans.
Well, yeah, he trusted Vanessa, so of course he's gonna trust
I mean,
other
yeah.
humans.
That's
He
true.
trusts the ATFH,
Well, that was after he won the case. That's when
The-
bees got their rights.
alcohol, tobacco, firearms, honey department. Okay.
That was pretty funny, that scene.
Oh yeah.
The old woman putting honey.
Bam!
Get on the ground, get on there, and drop the honey.
And then them shooting Winnie the Pooh, but he's not really Winnie the Pooh because they
Tranked.
couldn't say it.
Tranked.
Sorry, shot him with a trank. They still shot
Yep.
him.
Don't want to ruin any childhoods. Yet.
Nah, no, I don't care.
Is Ted just Winnie the Pooh on crack?
No, Ted. Have you watched Ted?
No.
I'm not gonna explain it to you then.
Okay. I have some like longer one. Well, okay, 9/11 check. We confirmed it was pre 9/11, right?
No. It's not that it's pre 9/11. It's that 9/11 never happened in the universe, because this is still based in 2006, or 2007. Sorry, the movie came out in 2007, and when movies come out, typically their date is the date of the movie coming out.
So then it's
So
never
9/11 never
9/11
happened in this
never
universe.
happened.
So in a universe where animals can talk, well, bees at least insects, where insects can talk, 9/11 didn't happen.
Should we explain why we say that?
Oh, well,
though?
yeah, it's because they broke into
They were able to easily hijack the plane.
They got into the cockpit way too easily.
Like I'm pretty sure pilots are ordered not to open the cockpit for anyone.
Oh yeah, even if there's hostages, you
You
just,
don't open that. You either land the plane or you just crash it.
typically
Well,
you land
no,
the
you
plane.
wouldn't crash it. Sorry.
Typically you land the plane
Yeah.
because you still want to keep those people alive,
Mhm.
as many as you can.
Yeah, but you don't open the cockpit door.
No, and there's no locks. There's no other locks. There's one
Well,
twist.
but didn't they talk about TSA still though? I'm pretty sure they did.
I didn't hear them talk about TSA.
I thought they
when
did.
do they talk about TSA? When they have time to talk about TSA?
I thought they did during a flight airport scene. I don't know.
Even then, there was
But
still
it was- there-
security. It's
yeah.
just not as heavy as it is nowadays.
Mhm. So,
So it's
9/11 never happened.
9/11 never happened in this universe. Also, we never see the New York City skyline in that direction, so I can neither confirm nor deny. But based off of how Barry B. Benson said something and they went, I couldn't hear him, open the door. That's not how that works in a post 9/11 universe, okay?
I know it's.
9/11 never happened in this universe.
I agree. Speaking of the plane, how many bees were there carrying that plane? Because how are
Okay, no, the joke is that it's impossible for a bee to fly with their wings and their body size. So the idea is, how are they flying? How are they flying that plane? Well, they can fly themselves with their wings. So it's that idea. It's making fun of it's impossible for bees to fly, or it should be impossible for bees to fly.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the idea. That's how I take it. I also take it as this is a cartoon, and I really couldn't care less about physics in this universe.
That's true. The plane scene, just them circling the flower, I was just like, that's not supposed to happen.
And then the people in the plane acted like nothing happened.
They were pissed that they just.
They're just
weren't-
waiting to get out.
Yeah, the one guy was checking his watch like he was late for something. Like, dude, look out the window.
Very relatable, though. Planes.
It is,
It's like sitting there
oh
waiting
my
for them to.
Sometimes if I'm flying solo and I see a middle seat up near the front open, I just take it.
I always take window.
I like aisle more.
I like aisle for legroom, but window's where it's at. Because then you control the window, which means you control the power in your row.
You also can rest on it. You can
Someone's
lean on it.
napping, and the sun's coming up. I'm sorry, man. This window's staying open.
Sun's going down. Tough.
It's getting bright out, and you're sleeping. Shouldn't have been sleeping on this plane. Let me tell you. Should have
Should've
chosen a
picked
different
another
row.
row.
Yep. Shouldn't have sat in the middle. If you sat on the end, I would have closed it for you. But no, you sat in the middle and took up my leg space. So this window's staying open.
B movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess so they talked about bejesus. You know how Cars has lore?
Yeah, that there's technically a car Jesus because there's a car Pope, which means
Yeah,
there's
so I
car
want to talk
Christians.
about B movie lore.
B Jesus.
There's B Jesus. Was there a B
Well,
Hitler?
there's got to be a Bitler, dude. There's got to be a Bitler. There's a Beezus and there's a Bitler.
So does that mean there's B Jews?
Oh, actually, that was one of the trivia things. Is that when they're saying B-ish, it's a double
Reference.
entendre with Jewish.
Oh.
So like, in the scene where you better not be hanging out with wasps, it's supposed to be a joke about white Aryans.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
according to the trivia, that's what that was.
Do you think B Jesus was crucified? And what was B?
I'm not
Romans?
going into this.
What was Roman bees looking?
I'm not
like?
going
Do you
into
think
this.
they wore togas?
Oh, 100%.
They were toga type of bees.
They're black and yellow togas.
Black and yellow, yellow and black. Let's mix it up.
Black and yellow. Hello.
Hello.
I don't want to go into the specifics about how the Lord and Savior Jesus
Bejesus.
Jesus Beist died. Okay,
That's probably smart.
there's probably something wrong there that I don't want to get into. But there's definitely a Bitler.
Had
Because
to be.
we can't say the H word because it's a no on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying Bitler.
Oh, okay.
It's okay if you said it earlier, but like just call him Bitler
We'll call him Bitler.
or Badolf. Beadolf.
What about
There's a Bussolini,
had to be. If there was a World War II there.
Bosama.
Bosama.
No, there was no Bosama bin.
No, well, no, it was Oh yeah, because there was
no 9/11.
There was no 9/11.
Or there was one, and he just is less of a terrorist in this universe.
That's true. Well, hold on. So would Bitler have been a queen though? Because
Bitler would have became a queen. Well, think about it. There's the one scene where they're in the
They're in the fake
beehives, and then there's the guy on the bee on the wall, and it's like, "That's my queen," and then Jerry Seinfeld says, "That's just a man in women's clothing." So
Yeah.
it's probably like that.
probably, I could see that. It's a struggling beehive. They needed a guy to rise up, take power, and
Yeah, after fighting the West Beehive
the East beehives
and their neighbors.
rose up. Oh, jeez, no.
That means there's probably also like a bold war, a Beeld war. There's probably Vietnam,
Vietnam. Borean War.
World War B, a Borean War.
Was there a Revolutionary War?
Oh, 100%. How do you think B-America existed?
Do you think bees hitched a ride on the Mayflower or whatever?
Oh,
and just,
100%. And they had their own Columbus. I'm just adding B to the front of everything. a Binston Churchill. Or to be Winston Burchell. It's got to be Binston Churchill.
Binston Churchill.
Binston B. Churchill.
It's gotta.
What other major characters in history are there? A Moses.
George B. Washington.
A Boa. Borge.
Borge
Washington.
Washington.
Borge Washington. Thomas Jefferson.
Wait, so if there were then B American presidents, does that mean B slavery had to be a thing?
Okay, we're not getting into this.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
All right, next question,
We
Jared.
should. I think we went too far into that hole. I
Abraham
apologize to
Lincoln.
you all.
That means there's there's a Abraham Lincoln, then there's a
Shall we move on? We
There's,
shall.
what's his name? Why can't I think of it right now?
What?
The guy who shot Lincoln?
Oh, John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, a Bon Wilkes Booth.
Beef.
John Wilkes Booth.
All right.
JFK would just be John B. Kennedy. JBK.
Shall we go back to the lawyer case?
Which means there's a B. Harvey Oswald.
No.
That's a good one. It works that time. B. Harvey Oswald.
Oh.
When there's theories about the BIA doing it.
No.
What's their moon landing?
No.
What's their moon landing canonically? Did they hitch a ride on the
Top of the
on
Empire
Apollo?
State Building?
Nah, I feel like they hitched a ride on Apollo, dog. They had
They had a B.
Beale Armstrong and
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
He was a bee.
That's what it
He was
was.
a bee the entire time.
Buzz Aldrin was a bee in human clothing. Sorry.
It was just a bunch of bees.
We can stop now.
We should.
I still think B. Harvey Oswald's a good one, though. And the BIA.
Okay. So these next two questions kind of go together.
FBI.
And they're kind of more, they're not as funny questions. They're
Okay.
just deeper.
You're going to talk
Uh,
about Vanessa and Jerry Seinfeld's relationship?
No, not yet. I mean, we can talk about it. I have these questions. I have an article I want to read to you.
Okay.
But so a little bit more serious. Does the court case hold up today?
Oh, 100% no.
And what's the value of life, like, and of animals?
Okay, the court case would not.
It wouldn't.
In a theoretical sense, where bees could talk and went to court against honey companies, I would say, first off, there's no way that a bee would be able to legally be a lawyer in that court case. I think he'd have to be the
You would have to get a human judge.
he'd have to
probably.
get a human lawyer, I think.
Or yeah, not judge, lawyer, duh.
I think you'd need a human lawyer. The lawyer for the honey companies would have been kicked out of the courtroom multiple different times
Absolutely.
for the different things he did. You can't bring a literal bear into a courtroom. That's not legal.
You can show videos,
Uh,
pictures.
What else? What else is issues with it?
I think who's Barry's friend again? Is that like Alan?
Yeah,
Alan stinging the other lawyer. I don't think that would.
he would have been kicked out of the courtroom.
I think yeah, and I think a lot of judgment would go to that side.
I also don't think. I think the honey companies would win for the sake of people liking honey, and that I
Mhm.
bet you a majority of the jury would have been more like, well, we kind of like honey.
Or it wouldn't be like ban all honey. It would just be like cut back on honey production. Like
Yeah.
put quotas on.
Or like, workable, like working people, not in a
Not in a case.
not in a Chinese sweatshop of
like
beehives.
you take beehives themselves rather than.
Yes, you would make a deal with the bees to take some of their honey and then
In exchange, plant more flowers.
in exchange, I don't know, you give them something. I don't
Give
know.
them money.
Money doesn't do anything, that's the thing.
I know.
So it's like, I don't know, you sign a deal where it's like, you give us honey, we just stop attacking you as a human race.
As a good American policy, we always do that.
Yeah. Do we follow through on it? Typically, no. But we'll say we will.
Well, I mean, we oppress a country,
And then we say,
and
we
then
won't
say,
hurt you.
and then we say, okay, we'll give you some things, but we're gonna still be here.
It's typically, oh, hey, we're just a random country that you don't care about. Is that oil I smell in your land? And they go, no. And they go, it's our land now. Home of the free. Land of the brave.
So you would say,
I don't think it'd hold up.
I don't think it, or at least not as extreme.
Yeah, and a lot of things that happen in the case wouldn't happen in the human world.
Yeah.
Judges wouldn't allow it.
Mm-hmm. And then the next question was just value of, like I mean we.
How
value
much should
life.
we value animal life?
How much should we value animal life?
If it's them or me, if it's them or humans, I'm choosing humans.
I mean, yeah.
Because humans have souls. Animals do not. Sorry, but all dogs go to heaven is lying.
Well, maybe we're blessed with dogs in heaven.
Yeah, but it's not the dog. It's not
But
like the
it's
dog
not-
had a soul and
It's not going to be the same dog.
was forgiven of their sins to go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we should put too much value on animal lives because they're animals.
Mm-hmm.
And
I still think there should be some value in them.
from my view,
Not more than humans, obviously, but there still should be
well, yeah,
some type of connection with them.
I say that you take care of them, but like, you know, if people need to eat,
Let
people
'em-
need to eat.
Yeah, people
like,
need to eat. Well, and I mean, you need to be careful of abusing. I still think abusing animals is bad.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
you should
you
never
don't-
abuse an animal.
You
but
want to,
humanely kill them.
yeah, well, and then just treat them well.
Yeah, you give them enough land.
You give them food, you
and
give them
food.
space. You don't want them to feel bad.
But I think some people place too much
Yeah.
on animals because sometimes there's the barrier between human and animal is like it's a gray line when really it's black and white.
To some people, yeah.
And
to some
that
people, it's gray.
some people are like, we gotta save the animals, man. We gotta stop the meat industry. I'm like, well,
Meat's
if
good.
you want our economy to stop existing, we can do that.
Yeah, it's like my grandpa's a farmer, and he loves every cow that he got.
Yeah.
He showed me, it was like, I have an entire family tree of these cows. Like, he knows where each cow came from. And so,
I feel like that's with most farmers
yeah,
too.
and it's because farmers value, I mean, to them, one cow, like, he does cattle, and cows are, one, money, but two, just like, they're almost like his pets, I want to say. So,
Yeah.
should we move on?
We can if
I
you
think-
want.
I mean, I think
I think that's
we've-
pretty good.
Yeah. So I found this article while because I was like, okay, this is gonna be, my questions won't be as deep as Matrix, and so I gotta bring something out here for you, Michael.
Okay.
So this is off of a blog post on a website called CareerCoachGen.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's an article by a woman named Jennifer Anderson from 2015.
Mrs. Anderson.
Mrs. Anderson.
Back to the Matrix. Always
Yep.
comes back.
The title is 12 Lessons Learned from the Bee Movie. And this is like business oriented. So there are 12 lessons for business.
Oh, okay.
Or even just for life. I think some of these work for life. Number one, so she first like describes the scene, then she says what the advice is. So it's like Barry B questions why bees have to do the same thing for work until they die. Equals, in the human world, why not explore different options? Michael, you don't always have to be a magic man. You can be two magic man.
Okay.
Number two, parents not listening to Barry as he explains that he wants to do something different. Date Vanessa. That's not in the article, that was me. From what they want him to do. That equals to, how often do kids not listen to their... Whoa, not kids.
How often do parents not
Parents
listen to their
not
kids?
listen to their kids and force their ideas on kids. I actually feel like we need to expound on that a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Let me go pee really quickly.
Oh, okay. So I'll just chill here for a bit. I'm willing to chill here.
Talk about something
Talk about something.
while I go pee.
Okay, I will.
And apparently, this is just gonna become a regular
It
thing
might
for
be.
me.
This is like the Jared minute.
It's because my water intake is higher when I'm doing this because I need to.
You need to drink more because you're talking
Because
more.
I'm talking a lot. Not that I
Okay.
don't talk a lot. Okay, I'm gonna go to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
go do that. I'll
Talk about something.
I will.
So, and then I'll listen back later and hear what you said.
Okay. Bye, Michael. Well, no, I shouldn't. Well, whatever. Yeah, you should. So welcome to the Jared minute. This is apparently going to be a episode thing. Episode. I don't know. I guess this should be my 1 minute of me saying, as a person without movie experience, what did I think of the film? Because I can't give all my insight. So without watching, I mean, I feel like I'm used to these types of films. I've watched a lot of like animated films, especially 3D animated. And it was so weird because I knew about B movie. I just never seen it. And so some of the lines I knew from memes. It was interesting to see them in context. For example, the "You Like Jazz" meme. I had never seen the before and after. And so I thought he was like actually talking to Vanessa at that time. I think I mentioned that. But then just like some of the scenes were so funny that we had to rewind it and watch it. So it was nice. Hi Michael, you're back. He's back in the room. Y'all can't hear him, but I can see him. Anyway, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
You want to talk about parents and children? Should we give parenting advice as two men who aren't married?
Okay, hold on a second. Let me sit down.
Okay. Yep. Take it.
I think I have no say in this because I am both A, not a parent, B, not married, and C, single of all things.
But you're a kid.
So my opinion does not matter.
Well, and I feel like there's times where you've got to have like friends, or even you've seen situations where parents force things on their kids. I mean, some things are good, yeah, but
I feel like most of the time, with most families, on average, not saying every family, some families, let's say, the parent is looking out for what's best for the child. They just don't know it in the moment until later, and then they look back and they're like, oh, my parents were protecting me from this. But sometimes parents shouldn't be so protective. They should let their kids make mistakes because then they can learn. But they should be able to make mistakes in the household while they're still living with them so the parents can help the kids understand why they made those mistakes and how to not make it again.
yeah. Do you have to? What do you gotta do?
Do you have anything to say as someone who it does have a significant other that may or may not get married to this significant other that will probably most likely have children?
Well, it's just like the thing I'm scared of in the future when I get married, when I have kids, is like I don't want to be that helicopter parent. And I don't want to control my kids. I kind of want to let them, like, I know Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about it a lot, and I feel like that's too extreme, where it's like you just let kids do what they want. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like kids, especially our generation and maybe the generation below us, they don't have...
They have iPads instead of faces.
Well, yeah, and they don't have experience of messing up, dealing with the consequences, and then moving on with their life, like fixing their problems on their own. And that's worrying.
I'd also say something that my parents taught me is teaching your kids certain things about things that people say are bad. So my dad owns firearms, and he taught all of us kids proper firearm safety, how to handle one, how you should handle one with others, and just all of the safety and understanding, and then letting us shoot them in order to understand the power behind them.
Yeah. And that's good. I agree with that.
I think there's certain things like that where you can teach your kids in the home before they go out and live that life. Which firearms, I feel like, aren't as, not as, I don't know the word I'm thinking of. You don't deal with them as much in daily life, I feel like.
Yeah.
They're more of a...
Well, most people don't deal with them.
Most people don't deal with firearms, but teaching your kids how to deal with them so that they don't just grab one and think it's a gun and then start doing...
Well, Yeah, or think it's like a toy.
It's getting basic knowledge of what it is so that you can, as a kid, know not to mess around with it. And then as an adult, when you're talking with other adults, you have the basic knowledge of what it is, how it works, so you're not uneducated in a conversation.
Yeah.
There's also other things, like my parents taught us how to responsibly drink before we were able to drink because, you're legally allowed to drink in the household. So my parents taught us you shouldn't drink this much because it's too far, and they don't want us to make those mistakes once we're gone out of the household.
Yeah.
When we can legally drink, so they teach us in the household before we go out in the real world. And then also letting us make mistakes outside of the house while we're still living with them, so then they can talk to us and be like, hey, maybe this is why you did this. This is how you don't do this. And we understand that you made the mistake. We still love you.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, and so, I agree with the extreme stuff, like the really dangerous stuff, like alcohol, drugs, firearms. Teach your kids, hey, these are dangerous.
By letting them, not just by showing them pictures and showing them stuff, by letting them touch it and learn about it.
Drugs
other
you
than
shouldn't
drugs.
touch.
Well, drugs you can look at, but I don't think a normal household has just drugs lying around in it.
I hope.
But like for firearms and alcohol, you should be looking
Teach
at
'em.
your kids and saying, "This is what it is. This is how it works."
This is
And letting them, like with a
and
gun,
don't
letting them
abuse
experience
this
it.
privilege type of thing.
Yes, teaching them
Yeah.
that it's a privilege, not
Mm-hmm.
a need, whatever that is.
Yeah. One thing I heard which was interesting, and this kind of connects to your second half of that point where, you learn stuff outside of the house. You know how in America there's playgrounds and parents can sit and watch their kids, and usually if a kid has a problem, like parents sometimes flock over. In Germany, I heard this story off of another podcast. I can't remember the name, can't remember the woman, but she was talking about how she lived in Germany for a while, and how they have it set up is where the parents sit, then there's a wall in between them and the playground. And so when the kids, if they have a problem, the parents are not in immediate eyesight, so they can't just run over quickly. It's the kids have to figure it out, but it teaches them also, if it's like a very serious problem, go and find an authority to help you. So I thought I like the idea, and that if it's not, teach your kids to deal with problems on their own, but it also teaches them to understand, okay, this is out of my control. I need someone to help me, type of thing.
I feel like the issue nowadays is less, my kids want to do something and I don't want them to, and it's more that my kids want to do something, they don't know how to communicate that to me as their parent, and I don't understand where they're coming from because I don't understand them as the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a mass issue of communication between kids and their parents because kids are now communicating through internet and phone, and it's easy. They're starting to build relationships with strangers more than their own parents in their households.
Yeah.
And that's causing them to have a harder time communicating to their own parents what they really want. They can be like, this is what I want, but the parents don't always understand that because they're not communicating it in a way that's clear and understandable. And I think we need to solve the issue of communicating between children and parents before we even think about it being an issue of the parents not allowing the kid to do what he genuinely wants to do. I think it's a communication error between the two.
Yeah.
Typically, in average films, I'm not going to say for every home. Every home is different. But on an
We're
average
talking about
level,
these cases.
I'd say
Yeah.
it's most issues is kids don't know how to communicate to their kids. And parents are having a harder time communicating to their kids because their kids are like a step up when it comes to technology and like understanding things that they kind of don't understand.
And I wonder if that's also a reason why stuff like mental health is on the rise, or like mental health problems are on the rise, is because instead of looking to their parents and communicating and talking through their problems, they're looking to the internet, which sometimes is not a good resource.
I'd say most of the time it's
Most
not.
yeah, and so because like sometimes it's telling you, you self-diagnose yourself rather than talking it through, and so sometimes self-diagnosis is good, but a lot of times I think you can misdiagnose what you have or you over-exaggerate what you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all from B movie.
I also think I think something interesting as our house is that we as kids will always talk to our parents about stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
even stuff that we ourselves, it's kind of not for us to share, we'll often share with each other just because we're trying to help understand ourselves, and having our parents talk to us as a source who doesn't really know what's happening but from an outside perspective will talk in on that. And we don't always, when like a confident, something that's in confidence between people, we won't share with our parents, and our
Yeah.
parents won't share with us. But typically, if it's something that they don't say in confidence, they're like, hey, don't tell anyone else, they'll talk to us about it. And even when there's issues with parents in the, like, when we swam our family, when there's issues between the parents, our parents would tell us about that because they want to treat us like adults, understanding the circumstance, and make us feel like we're not outside of everything. And I think treating your kids like adults at the right moments and treating your kids when they're kids at the right moments puts you on a completely equal plane with your kids where you can communicate them with them easier.
Yeah.
You shouldn't talk down on them all the time, but you shouldn't always treat them like an adult.
Yeah.
And I think if parents can figure out that middle ground, a lot of the issues of, I want to do this, but my parents tell me not to, would be solved, and the communication errors would be solved.
Yep.
But that's also because it's easier to give a kid an iPad and keep them busy instead of forcing them into human conversation.
Yeah.
So I think it's an internet issue. As someone who is on the internet, I do believe it's an internet issue.
Yeah, I think the internet has changed how parenting needs to happen. And so,
Because it's less parents parenting and
mm-hmm.
the internet parenting kids.
Yeah.
And it's not always the fault of the parents. It's typically the internet just feeding them bad information, but the parents need to be aware of when you should allow your kids to be on the internet, how you allow your kids to be on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's better to slowly introduce your kids to the internet versus just throwing an iPad at them and saying, go ahead.
Or teaching them, like, firearm safety. Like, this is both a good but also a dangerous resource. Like,
Yeah.
this is what... And, I mean, schools are starting to educate more and more towards, like, kids, hey, this is on the internet, this is bad, this is good. They're starting to do that. But I think it's still best for parents to start early and do that, so...
Yeah. As a parent, just love your child and talk to them.
Yeah.
And they will love you and talk to you back.
Mm-hmm. And I know some parents have hard situations. Like, there's a rising number of families who both parents have a job, plus maybe another one has 2 jobs. So, yeah, just try and interact with your kids.
Yeah.
If coming from 2 unmarried men.
2 unmarried, 1 single, 1 taken. Ladies, I'm single, so
Oh, watch out.
don't call me.
All right.
Oh, wait, hold on. One last thing to this
One
point,
last thing,
'cause I really love this point.
This is a great point. I didn't know we were going to get on this.
Well, as someone who has 2 nieces, soon to be 3,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have a bit more of a view of it, and I see my siblings interacting with their own children and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And in my personal opinion, if you can financially afford a 1-income household, I would suggest doing a 1-income household and another one of the parents be there for the child. Because my mom being home every day completely changed who I was. Because
Absolutely.
I could go home and I knew, oh, mom's right there. I had a bad day, my mom's going to be right there and protect me. And yeah, I love my dad. And I love my parents equally. Because I know they're probably listening to this. I love them equally. And I think there's a great side to having a working father and a stay-at-home mother, typically. But if it has to be the woman working, I understand. I just think there should always be, if you can financially afford it, 1 person working and 1 person in the house.
Yeah.
Because being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job.
Absolutely.
You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're talking to your kids. You rarely get naps because your kids don't ever be quiet. Like, and you're constantly thinking about what am I going to do tomorrow for food? Do I have to do the kids' clothes? Do I need to have them clean their rooms? Like, there's so much behind a stay-at-home mother that I think society has just, like, plucked away at and said,
Yeah.
stay-at-home moms, I get my sister who's a stay-at-home mom and my mom who's a stay-at-home mom got this all the time. And my mom doesn't as much. My sister does. But it's that, oh, what job do you have? And they say, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And they get laughed at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, being a stay-at-home mom is not an easy job. I'm not a
It's an
stay-at-home
important
mom.
job.
But it's I'm going to get angry. So I'll
We'll
stop there.
We'll stop there. Should we go back to B movie?
Stay-at-home moms are an important part to our society, and I'd like to thank my mom for raising me, and I'd like to thank my sister for also raising me. I'd like to thank my brother for raising me. I'd like to thank my dad for raising me, but mainly my mother, because she was always there for me. Friends, I'll be there for you.
Yogurt night.
All right, next.
Moving on.
I just ranted.
This is number 3
I'm sorry.
on the list. That's okay. We gotta fill time. We gotta talk about B movies somehow, and this is life lessons we're learning from B movies.
Number 3.
Number 3, let go of the tennis ball. Remember when Barry was on the tennis ball?
Uh-huh.
When bad things are happening, get out of the way, especially if you are getting hit at.
That is the worst I'm sorry. He was stuck to that ball. He couldn't just let go. He full on hugged the thing and was stuck.
I know.
You can't compare those two.
That's not comparable. But it's funny.
Yeah, don't hook on to bad things. That's just not. That's like a general understanding. Speaking of.
Number 4, don't fly in the rain equals know the limitations of and how to best use your talents.
Man, they're really inflating these two things
They
together.
are.
I agree with that. Some talents, I feel like some people tried to do a job that's not for them when they need to know that boundary.
And it's okay to know that you are really good at something. Like, yeah, expand into other things, but if you're really good at something, keep improving at it.
100%.
Yeah. Number 5, Barry B quotes, I want to do my part for the hive, but not the way they want me to do it. The lesson, communicate your desires for another way to use talents that more closely aligns with your core strengths. So just basically, if your boss is saying, hey, do this,
And you're not good at it, talk to your
like,
boss.
tell him, like, hey, I don't think I would be the right person for this.
The overarching theme for this seems to just be communicate.
Let's talk about number 6 then. Barry B used his stinger in a sword fight with the warehouse worker, with the warehouse worker who used the thumbtack. When fighting for a cause you deeply believe in, use all your tools effectively and especially use your best tool available.
Okay, what else was he supposed to use? He's a bee.
That's like his only weapon.
He gonna use his hands? Just get stabbed?
Come at me, bro.
Like what?
Barry B. Benson just slapping the crap out of that warehouse worker.
Is the title for this article just inflating two topics together because I think they're gonna fit, but they really don't?
Number 7.
Okay.
B. Larry King local news.
And what is she gonna inflate this with?
Use PR to communicate your cause.
Oh my. Oh my.
This one actually works. Kinda. No, it works.
Jared, he went on
B. Larry King.
Barry King because he got famous, and Barry
And then
King
he-
wanted to get him on there. But in
He
normal
used
life,
he used it to further his cause.
but in normal life, you're not gonna get the news on for doing a simple thing in your job.
Well, it's an important court case. That's why he got on
Okay,
there.
but this is talking about normal lives, Jared. As a normal worker working 9 to 5, I'm not gonna get on the news for flipping a burger.
You could one day.
Am I going to use the news to make my burgers more famous? No, because I'm a local company, and
Well, what if your local company gets on the
CBS is
local
gonna-
news and you're like, hey, come down, eat a burger, and then you get more and more famous?
no.
Use PR. Okay, 8. Oh, no. Shirt, jacket, and tie for court equals image is important for critical meetings. Yeah, no dirt.
It's almost like you should wear formal wear at formal events. Huh. Actually,
Number 9. Adam stung. Oh, it was Adam, not Alan.
Adam.
Adam.
Bad name.
Eh.
No, I'm just kidding. Adam's a fine name.
Adam stung the lawyer to defend his friend. Lesson is stand up for what you know is right and support those close to you.
Now, not to equivalate this to something else, but so you're saying when my friend is having a disagreement with one of my other friends, I should stab him? Good to know. Good to know. That man, he stung him and it could have killed him. Are you inflating suicide with protecting your friends? This article gets 2 B's.
We're not even at 12. We're at 10. We have 3 more.
This gets 2 random bears out of 10.
Number 10. If the bees stop making honey and aren't pollinating, means that the flowers and plants won't continue to grow. Lesson is, if you don't focus on what you do best, then who will do your part in the world? You're gonna say something? I see you hesitating.
Someone else is going to fill the role.
Well, I don't...
In a
There
normal
are
job society, if you don't do the work, someone else is going to get that work assigned to them and do the work.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the workplace, when work's given to someone and they don't succeed, someone else is going to succeed in the place that you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think in normal society, if you don't do something, someone else is going to take your spot.
But she's saying if you don't focus on what you do best. So, like, if you're really good at sales, then go do sales. Because who else is going to be really good at sales?
Other
A lot of
people.
Yes, I know.
The thing is, she's trying to take generalizations and make them personal when you can't. When one person is good at sales in the world doesn't mean they're the only good person at sales. There's at least 5 other people in town that are good at sales.
It's more like a self-confidence. So far, I'm getting like a self-confidence type of blog where it's like, build up your own confidence.
I feel like she could have, instead of taking the B movie and adding these things to the B movie, she could have said, I think we all need a little bit more confidence in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And then just posted that. And it would have been more effective.
Number 11. Once Barry knew how important the role of bees to pollinate the flowers was to... She also has a lot of grammar issues here on this blog.
You know, I'm not hating on this person. I just feel like there's better ways for her to get her point across.
I agree.
With correct grammar would help.
Correct grammar, yeah. Once Barry B knew how important the roles of bees to pollinate the flowers and plants, he apologized for his mistake. Lesson?
Don't tell me the lesson for this is just apologize for mistakes.
Know when you make a mistake.
Oh
own
my
up to it.
gosh. Oh my. Okay, she could have just cut out the B movie lines and then just put the stuff in and still would have been fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, you apologize when you mess up. You build bridges, not burn
Yeah.
them.
Well, and if you mess up, don't try to hide it either.
Fess up.
Fess up.
When you mess up, fess up. That was a good one. I'm a
That-
poet and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, okay.
Are we on? Is this 12?
This is 12.
Okay.
We're almost done, Michael. Barry tells people small jobs done well makes a big difference. Everyone has an important role, no matter the size.
Okay. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm
Okay.
coming at this from the perspective of I already know this stuff, but I don't know if an average citizen would know some of these things.
Uh-huh.
So maybe I'm being a little too harsh. But I think that one was an obvious one.
She has an ending paragraph. Well,
Oh, okay. Read the ending paragraph for
it's,
me.
it's 2 sentences.
Oh, that's not a paragraph.
There were many more interesting lessons learned in the B movie.
That's all she said?
No, there's more.
Okay.
Well, basically, it's then just after that, it's like, go watch the movie.
I feel like she sat down and she said, I'm going to do something with my life. And then the do something with her life was watch the B movie and then just repeat what the B movie was saying, but without a B in it.
I feel like she was forced to make lessons from the B movie.
You think someone sat her down and went, "You're gonna make this blog"?
Yeah. Like, that was... Because it was short.
He apologizes. This lesson means we should apologize.
I mean, there are some people out there who just need to be told, apologize.
But like, you don't have to connect it back to the B, man. You really don't.
Not the B.
It always comes back to Barry B. Benson, doesn't it?
It always does.
What a great movie.
I think, yeah, are we down to last? I think we're... I mean, I'm done with my stuff. Do you have anything?
No, I don't think I'll have much to add for most of these movies that we watched, just because I've seen them before and I don't have many questions.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're coming at it with a fresher mind, it's easier to
Build
say
off
some
of,
questions,
build
yeah.
off of my...
And I can just speak off of whatever you say, really. And
Yeah.
I think it makes it more interesting that way. But if you ever get tired of questions, I can force myself to write down
eventually,
some questions.
once we get on a roll and we start doing, like, rewatches...
Rewatches, I'll definitely
we can
do
bounce
questions.
back and forth a little bit easier then.
Yeah. But for fresh movies for you, I feel like it's better that you ask the questions, because most of these movies I've watched more than once.
Yeah.
So I can speak a lot more on that.
Speaking of fresh movies, should we talk about what we're gonna do next? We're doing...
Well, we already talked about it, American Psycho.
We're doing American Psycho, yeah.
Which, man, is it a movie?
I can't wait to watch this movie.
I just want you to know that it's a horror movie technically.
Yeah.
But it's a very well-made book movie, even though it's not correct to the book. Yeah, American Psycho was originally a book.
Oh.
And then they made American Psycho.
Is it a good book? Have you read it?
No, I've actually really wanted to read it. I've heard that the movie isn't as close to the book, but I don't know. I haven't read it, so I can't speak on that. And Paul Allen's name in the book isn't actually Paul Allen.
Oh, it's something else.
Paul something. I just can't remember.
They changed the name.
Yeah, and I think Paul Allen kind of rolls off the tongue a bit better than the other name that I can't remember right now.
That's okay.
But I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's got some really good questions for you to ask, because the ending of the movie is very much a question. It leaves an open question
type of thing.
Not cliffhanger. It just, like how The Matrix, when it ends, it kind of leaves a lot of questions on your tongue. You're like, man, what does that mean? What does that mean? I feel like American Psycho is going to be very much that way.
And the difference, I think, between those two is, well, Matrix then had sequels, but then American Psycho doesn't have sequels.
It has a sequel. American Psycho 2.
What?
I've never watched it, and I will never watch it.
I've never heard of it.
It's not a sequel. They basically took a movie script of a different movie that was going to be a different movie.
And just made it.
And then just said, what if we called this American Psycho 2?
Oh.
But it's not at all American Psycho, other than there being people dying.
Anyway.
I think it'll be
we're
fun.
We're watching American Psycho next.
Yeah.
That'll be the next episode next week.
I think we thought of something for the week after that. I can't remember right now.
I thought we were going to do Dead Poet Society.
I thought we're going to watch a lighthearted one between those two, though.
Were we?
I believe so. You're going to need a palate cleanser after. Going from American Psycho to Dead Poet Society is not what you need. You need a palate cleanser.
We can talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll come up with some fun movie that you have on your list. We can watch a Disney film. That'd be so weird.
It would be.
American Psycho, and then we're watching Aladdin, and you're like, what is happening?
Princess and the Frog.
We should watch Princess and the Frog next. We need to get Elena in on one of these.
I mean, if you want.
I think it'd be fun.
Eventually.
She's
I
your
think-
girlfriend, so
I know, but I feel like first we need to establish, like, us. We need
I
to
know,
build
but
ourselves.
it'd be fun to have
It would be.
guests.
I would say after the summer.
Okay.
I think
it's up
that
to you. It's
I
not
think
mine.
that would be better.
This is your Shibumi. I'm just here to speak.
Well, I consider you equal.
Yeah, I know you do, but you did a lot more work than I did, so I just provide the mics and my voice. That's it.
That's more than enough.
I guess. I also technically record these, but
Anyway,
not really. All right, well, this has been fun.
this has been. I liked B-movie.
So we ended the last one quite well, I felt like. And I just don't know how we're going to end this one.
I don't know either. We need to figure out how to end these.
We need to figure out some, like, we'll probably eventually become the typical, like and subscribe, guys.
With the background music at the end, the hard techno music.
No, we're not going to do that. We'll end
No
it with
techno music.
We'll just say it.
Some smooth jazz.
No, we'll just say it.
We'll just
No
say it.
music. Just say it, and then, because we can't be like the other people, but at the same time,
We gotta be like.
we have to be like the other people. So, yeah, we should probably figure out a way to end these. Write that into
Yeah, we'll chalk that up to future plans.
yeah, which will probably never come to fruition. It's always gonna be us being like, man, we should really figure out a way to end these. That's not in an awkward fashion.
Anyway,
Let's say Paul Allen's card.